Hey, hey.
Good morning or afternoon, probably for you.
Afternoon. Yeah, I just made some coffee here.
That's what I'm drinking too, because it's super early here. Well, not super early, but it's pretty early here. So I'm trying to make sure my brain's working.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Do you have an interview after this?
No, today is quite cool. Actually, it's really cool, and I'm. That's good since it's Friday. It's a
Yes,
good ending of the week.
right. Absolutely. Yeah. I like your shirt. My son was just listening to Soundgarden last night. He's a big fan.
Yeah, yeah. It was a fun. I hope they're still around. I hope they do something more for
Yeah.
us fans. I would love to see something more.
I feel like I heard something just the other day about them either getting back together for a show or something, but I don't know who the
Yeah, for a show, something like that. Yeah, true.
yeah. Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine. The weather is brutally gray and eerie a little bit here in Gothenburg, and I feel a little bit cold. That's why I made a coffee. I think yeah.
Do you guys
Other than that, I'm listening to Soundgarden and having a good Friday.
yeah, that's a good start to the day outside of the weather. Do you guys get a lot of fog there?
Yeah, yeah, it's always tons of fun in Gothenburg. I mean, now it's weekend coming up, and it's always something to do, gigs or whatever you like to do, which is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the album comes out in less than a month.
Yeah.
Um, how has so you've released three songs so far. The first or the last song just within the last week. I'm seeing all the responses, obviously all positive. How has it felt? Because this is only your guys' second album, so how has it felt seeing what everybody is saying?
I I feel really happy about that because you never know about that while you write the music or creating the magic, so to speak. Everything like that is some kind of a bonuses, and I have learned somewhere along the way not to pay too much attention to that because in the first place, when you write this music, you have done all you can. You have put your 100% effort and time and energy into this and believe in the tracks. And that's all you can do as a writer or on my end, our end here, to make it work. And then we can only pray to the metal gods that people will like it, of course.
Yeah. So you don't pay much attention. You don't do
No,
you
I have learned that along the way to keep it kind of I feel better that way. I mean, I'm really happy that people likes the music, and of course, you gotta take the positive and also the negative reactions to it. I mean, it doesn't affect my daily life or me as a person. As long as I know I put 100% behind the music and did everything in my possible way to make it 100%, then I feel good
yeah,
about it.
absolutely. Yeah, I haven't seen anything negative. I went through and read through quite a few comments. And I haven't seen anything negative. Now, of course, there's comparisons to bands that you guys have both been in the past. One that you
Yeah.
guys all have in common. Um, which is understandable that especially with the guitars because the guitars I feel like have a distinct voice all to themselves and you and Jesper are just wizards together. You guys create some incredible melodies. You complement each other well. There's the back and forth and the harmonizing that you do in some of the songs is just
Mm.
pure magic. How has
Thank
it
you.
felt playing with these guys after all of these years? I know it's been a few years now that you guys have been playing together, but how has it been kind of reuniting and with what I'm sure you consider your brothers?
I mean, that's an interesting question. And when you think, I mean, yeah, I know Jesper since the seventh grade and Michael since the 89, 90s, 91, something like that. And then I met Peter and Daniel in Flames and we did some amazing stuff together. They're all amazing people and great, amazing players as well. But the thing we never played under the banner of a new band called The Halo Effect.
Mm.
You know, wow, it's something new, but it's something old as well. And you played with your mates before and you know them. But it's a mindset. It's a little bit, all right, this is new songs, even though we have made them and we feel comfortable with them. But now we're going to play it live. And that was something new to us. Okay, we are named the Halo Effect, and we have these green lights, and we are green. You know, everything, all these small things
Mhm.
are making a difference when you start playing it live and you're playing in front of people. Um, so that was for me at least a challenge in the beginning to okay, where is my role in this? Where? And then we just go for what we always done and just stick with that. So that makes sense. But it was a little bit of a challenge, I think, for us all.
Yeah.
What is the Halo Effect live? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do feel like the first part of the album definitely feels very, very familiar in some ways and not in other ways. But a little over the halfway point, Forever Astray, there's a shift. And it's not just the clean vocals that comes in. I feel like there's a musical shift. I don't know if that's something that was like on purpose or if it's something that's just how I feel or how I take it. Um, but it seems like it takes on a different form than the former part of the album. Is that something that you guys purposely did, or is that just something that
I think um, you gotta have a vision, some kind of a vision and some kind of feeling when you start writing an album. What are we wanna say, and why should we do this? Even have you gotta have answer to those questions. That's for me very important. And then you slowly start to build these albums, and you have your cornerstones as you start to write the skeletons of songs, and you pass it around to the other guys and they think and they feel and we talk about it. And I think that process is very interesting because that's when you mold it a little bit. And we play the music we play. So I had another track list in mind while recording and writing the album. And then Michael comes in with, hey, I got another one. What about this? And I just throw a curveball. I was like, what? Um, but it makes sense. It
it does.
does. But that's the beauty of playing in a band, I think, that you have to communicate on this stuff and listen. And when everybody is on board, that's a very powerful thing when you move at the same direction and you are, wow, we are towards the goal that we set out to do here, which is really important. I think so. So
Absolutely.
so there's a little bit of a storytelling to this album, musical wise as well, because we got the first gig at Sweden Rock uh, when we had a stage time was like an hour, and the first album was like 42 minutes tops. And wow, how do we do now? Okay, I made an intro and I made an outro, and then the challenge was to play the whole album from start to finish. I've never done that before. When you release a new album, you play a couple of songs and then you
Mm-hmm.
mix it up a little bit. But that was a cool challenge, and that was a wonderful evening. Uh, that intro became the first seed to the song March of the Unheard. Wow, so I made a song out of that. And
Uh-huh.
the outro I kind of made a little bit with acoustic vibe to it. But while during the recording process, I thought that why don't I make a some kind of a medley with melodies that runs through the album, which ends up in this instrumental track Coda. And then we
Mm-hmm.
added cello and violin and Julia's soaring
Mm-hmm.
female vocals along with Michael. And I think that was went by just natural. I didn't think too much about it. But when you listen to the album, it's a kind of a melancholic breather. It ends like that.
Hmm.
And to me, when I listen to the album now, it's like, hey, it's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say movie theme, but you kind of what's gonna happen next. It's
Yeah.
just all right. Where do we go from here? And that has there's some seeds of new music going on because I think it makes it interesting from here.
Yeah, yeah, I like that explanation. I mean, because it is cinematic. And so and it's interesting because if you go from the end of the album, the end of Coda, and then go right back into the beginning again, like if you just let it, revolve into the beginning again, then it's like hard hitting heavy again. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, it
right in
is.
your face.
Yeah, it is. Even though it's a lot of melodies and we tend to write poppy arrangement, but it's a lot of energy, positive energy that runs through the album, and it is a lot of power behind the songs. And I in my 52-year-old I need a breather.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think you guys are so hardworking, not only behind the scenes, but of course on stage, that it's important to be able to to take a little bit of, you know what, I'm going to go into a question that I usually ask later. But it's an important question that I ask pretty much everybody at this point. What are some things that you do for self-care to take care of your mind, to take care of your body when you're so busy, especially when you're touring? What are some things you do to kind of help keep yourself balanced, keep yourself okay? Because it can be a lot.
I mean, overall, this started maybe when was it, 1920, something like that. Uh, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry.
No, you're good. Bless you.
Oh, thank you. No, so I always play a lot of soccer. I love football. So uh, it felt natural to start run. So I'm a runner. I run almost each and every day, and that helps me to keep sane and to have a. I feel better. I don't get tired that easy. And then of course I think of what I'm eating. I I wish and I hope for good sleep every night. So all these basics
Yeah.
to me is very, very important, and to feel. And oh yeah, I'm getting a little bit out of the metal box here, but to feel love and be able to give love, all the basics for me as a human is to feel strong and positive and have a good laugh. I believe in that. Just the simplest thing, and be able to play the music we do.
Hmm. You know what? That's a beautiful answer. I cannot tell you how many times I ask that question and I get like deer in the headlights look, because a lot of people have never thought about it and don't know how to answer it because that's not something they really think about focusing on or thinking about doing. And so those are wonderful things. And I definitely, I think um loving one another is a total metal thing, because I think that's what brought us all to metal, is feeling
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. Totally,
yeah,
totally. I just thought that I go out a little bit of the context of the metal interview of Halo. So now so I believe in those stuff, the
yeah.
simplest uh, stuff, but it makes me feel good, and I feel strong about that. And and as I said, the whole community is for me is built on love, because this genre of music is wonderful, because the people come to the shows, they buy the music, and they are fans and they want to listen to your music. But if the band isn't up for it, if it a little bit tired, then the audience won't react the same way. But if the band and the audience is on the same page, that makes that evening out just blow off the roof. It's
Yeah.
just magical. And that's what I love about this genre of music. And that's what I strive um, while being on tour to make that happen, because that gives me so much positive energy and love. And I know the people who attend to the show feel the same way. So it's a group effort. I mean, we can't do this without the supporters of the band or vice versa.
Right. So on the days that you're just not feeling it because you're human, how are you able to kind of get through that in order to perform, because it is an energy exchange and you do, and you can tell. I mean, I'm sure even as a concert goer and watching other bands, you can tell when a band isn't enjoying themselves and having a good time, and when they're just like, this is my job and I'm exhausted. How are you able
No,
to
no.
get
I have I tend to see it in a different angle, since I'm a big fan of sports, and you can tell. Um, how would I put this? There's hundreds of amazing bands out there, right? And I think it's your duty to do your best every night on tour, even though you feel a little bit cold. Ah, my hurt. No, make it happen. Otherwise, go home. Just simple as that. Because people have paid money, and then maybe buy a shirt, and then maybe buy a beer, and then put money behind it, and maybe they have traveled, booked hotel, everything like that. So it's no, 100%, because as I said earlier in the interview, is that when I do the groundwork of a song, I need to put some time and effort and just feeling it. And if I've done that in 100%, then I feel good about myself, and I can stand behind it. That's the same mindset when I go on stage. I will always do my best. Then if our equipment fails or something, just that's beyond me. But I will always try to make a good show.
I love that. So I do a insane amount of interviews. I keep myself pretty busy doing this because I love doing it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of times that I'll ask like what someone's listening to at the time or what their influence is. A normal question, but people like to know. And the more times than not, In Flames is one of those bands, with you guys all being again a older part of that, and know that you've been such a huge influence to so many like big musicians. How has that, do you, I mean, first of all, do you know that, which I'm sure you do, and how has that been, knowing that you're one of the pioneers of a lot of people's influence and love for music? It's got to feel weird.
I don't think in those lines. I never do. Nay, 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 nay. I'm just a dude who loves heavy metal, and I mean, this is one of my favorite bands. Soundgarden and Kim Tae-al, the guitar player, is one of the inspirations. Uh, I'm still a music lover and a music fan, and I love football, and I run, and I tend to eat good food, and have my kids around, and all this stuff that makes me happy. I don't think in those terms, and I think it's dangerous to think in those terms that make you hybris and you think you're bigger than you are actually. No, stay grounded.
Yeah, I like that answer. I like that answer. Now there is, I think I can't remember if I said it before. I think I did, but there is sometimes guitar players who have like their own voice. They have a distinct sound. And I always think that's so special when I can hear a piece of music, vocals not included, and automatically know who that is. And you guys are definitely two of them that as soon as I hear it, I'm like, I know who that is. Is that something that you set out to be like, okay, I want my guitar playing to have a certain voice, or is that just part of who you are and that's just what comes out?
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, yeah. No, it's just I haven't thought about it, and I know that or think that Jesper didn't think about that as well. It just goes along because the love of playing music and creating music, it has always been a a great fun and a big joy in our lives to do. And I don't think in those terms. And I really love, as you mentioned, I mean, putting on a King Diamond album, and I immediately hear Andy LaRocque. It's so good. His tone, his choice of tones, and his melodies in there is just, I can listen to. I'm like a goldfish when it comes to his work. And also, since I have the T-shirt, Kim Tayal's riffage along with Chris Cornell, of course. I mean, the riffage for Rusty Cage. It's just da
Okay.
da 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 da. It's just, oh my God, it's immortal stuff. I mean, I
Yes.
can go on the whole night, evening with this stuff. So I think it's a matter of a because all these players have their own touch and their own sound, and it's in the flesh, and it's not something you can, yeah, you can incorporate that, and or you can try to be like that, but you're not even close. I'm not try to research like Kim Tayal, and I couldn't reach his level because that's his sound and his way of creating magic, and it's a big inspiration. So is Andy LaRocque to me.
Yeah. Yeah. My son is a guitar player. He is 16 and he plays hours and hours a day. The kid is an absolute beast. Um, he is likes to do the shredding, and so he's been learning all the shredding and
Yeah,
everything. And that's something I've asked him, like, because he plays, of course, most other people's music, but he's starting to create his own. And so I'm
that's
so
good.
interested to hear what his sound is going to be like, because I don't think every guitarist is able to accomplish that, their own voice and their guitar. I know that not every guitarist is able to do that, and so I'll be
I
curious.
I think this may sound crazy or sound uh, so wrong, but I don't think. Um, Sorry for this. Maybe I will be burned or something or thrown. Don't go to school. Don't learn all the. Just learn the basics, and then you just go for there. You, from
Yeah.
there, and just go for it. Oh, this sounds cool,
Hmm.
and then maybe like 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 myself, I met people who went to university to study music and all that, and I would be like, "Hey, you can't do it like that. Why can't I do it like that? No, because it doesn't make sense in the scales and how it's put together and all that. I don't care. It sounds good, and from when you started out at youth centers playing music, that was some kind of a haven where there was no rules. No, you got rules at home, rules at the football club, rules at school, but here you can just go for it. You can just make noises and do whatever song you like. That's how we got into music, and then we just go from there. Then I talk for Jeppe and the rest of the gang as well. So no, we don't know always what we are doing, but it sounds fucking good.
It does. It really does. And I wouldn't have known that because it sounds so good, but I don't know a whole lot about that kind of stuff anyways.
So
But
I mean, of course, it's a good with knowledge and all the basics and all this. Yes, of course, we do know that. But in order to create your own sound, I think you have to just go for it. It's
mhm,
just trial and error. Just go for it and have fun.
yeah.
That's the thing. Just have fun.
Absolutely. So how are you able to continue having fun when you've been doing this for so long and not, I mean, you had said, you do have to perform because that's part of what you do, but how are you able to keep it fun?
I I am still 16 years old, 17 years old. Yeah, I'm like a sponge when it comes to music, bands, artists. Of course, my taste changed along the way, and I've grown up a little bit in my way of thinking, and I got my own structure, how I wanted to sound or how I wanted to be. But in the end, I'm still curious. I love these conversations where I meet friends and we talk about music, we talk about tones and why is that happening? Why that key change in that bridge? All this nerdy stuff. But because that's something that I feel. Um, it's like I'm just talking to my friends about this, and I'm still creating in my head. I'm like sucking in on this information that's just there for the taking, and then you just go with that. I mean, I no, that's the reason. I still love what I do, and I still having fun.
Yeah, that's great. So important.
Yeah.
So great. What are some things that you have been listening to lately?
What I have been listening to lately. Damn. Besides from Bad Motorfinger, I love this band, Paul Bearer. Uh,
Oh, huh.
yes, they put out a new album this year, and I really, really like them. I love the new Judas Priest album. I think Richie Faulkner is great, and everyone in the band, of course, Rob Halford, the god. And and there was an album this year that really surprised me. That I actually think is great album. I bought the latest The Cure album.
I've heard that. I've heard it's really good. I haven't listened to it yet, but I've heard
No,
it's really good.
because I remember my older sisters back in the 80s and they came on all the hits and they had weird haircut. And okay, my sister likes this. It's not for me. It's not. I rather listen to King Diamond. But it slowly catch up on you. So when the first singles came out from the new The Cure album, I was, wow, this is actually really, really good. So I had to mature a bit. I have to turn 50.
So did you tell your sisters that you were like, okay, I finally get it, or are you still keeping that a secret?
No, we haven't talked about The Cure. No, no, but I will do. I will meet her on Christmas.
Oh, there you go. Then you guys can
Yeah,
discuss it, and I'm sure they'll be excited to hear that.
yeah, yeah,
It's like you said, it's always amazing to be able to share music. Me and my brother listen to totally different kinds of music, so I don't get that with my sibling or with my family because none of my I was the only metalhead in the family, but my
yeah.
son has become a huge metalhead, so I get to
Mm,
share it with him.
that's good.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had some kids come up to him at school the other day and were asking questions about they were doing like some assignment and were asking what kind of music he listened to and about concerts and stuff that he goes to. And they said, "Well, is your mom okay with you like listening to that music and going to those shows?" And he was like, "My mom's the one that takes me."
yeah. That's a very good thing to do. That's a really good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to share.
Yeah,
Um,
it is exactly like that.
yeah, our channel, The Darkness, I think has become probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Tell me about if you can remember the creating of that song. I like the slow beginning to the heavier.
Yeah, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. It was Jesper came up with the melody, the chorus thing, and we had the chorus is one of the first thing we had for the song. Actually, I remember this one, and then we were twisting, tweaking it a little bit like that, and then I just thought, hey, can we try the same melody but uh, make it in acoustic guitar instead, as a melancholic theme, and it has its feeling to it. It feels like you're alone in a boat in a big ocean. All right, I play this tune before I dive into the kind of vibe. Uh, so that's how that one came about. It actually started out from a chorus which we felt was really catchy and really cool, and then we worked our way out from there, you could say.
Now on the flip side, The Burning Point is also high up there on the favorites, and it does the opposite. It starts off heavier and goes into the slower and
Yeah,
more lonely, isolated part.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Also, yeah, we tend to do we tend to be suckers for this kind of guitar intros,
uh,
something that present the song at first, I think. And it's not something that we have thought of. It just happens. Ah, we should, yeah, something like that. And then we try to take it away. How does it feel if we just go with it and just start? No, something's missing. And then we,
I love that you guys do that. I love the mood and melody shifts and changes that you guys do throughout all, plus with the added instruments and sounds. It's just it's such a beautiful way of creating music. I don't know what you guys over in Sweden are. I don't know what's in your coffee. I don't know what's in the air, but you guys are just incredible musicians over there. And me and my son are like, man, maybe we should move to Sweden because there's something that there's like some kind of, again, magic that you guys got going on there that's just so different.
yeah, I think it has to do with when I was growing up. I'm born 72. There was this. There was youth centers in all the suburbs everywhere. Where I grew up, it was like 5 or 6 of them, and you could just go there and you can play sports and you could just hang out, or you can choose to play a little bit of music. And I had the best guides in that. When I text or call on the phone, it's like, "Hello, idol, how are you?" And then we they're still my idols, and they're still around making music or writing books and stuff like that. So that was a because you could you could sign up, and then you could go to the rockkällaren, rock cellar, whatever you choose to call it, and you could just try to play an instrument, and then you have a youth center leader showing you how to do that, and it was all for free. You didn't have to have any instrument to any start like that.
Wow.
I mean, I can imagine myself in the fifth, sixth grade. Oh, I love oh, uh, Judas Priest. But then you could try this out, and you can try it for free, and you have the greatest, yeah, my idols again, who show me. Ain't talking about love, but with Van Halen. Or I remember Sign of the Southern Cross, Riffage from Black Sabbath, and stuff like that. And that I think encourage us teenagers and to just proceed. And then you had a band, and then you could sign up for a gig at your local youth center. Wow, we'll play. And we only have 3 songs. Oh, let's do it. When is it? It's in 2 months. Yeah, let's practice. Wow. And I just did go from there. You didn't think, because these youth centers, they were rockers, leaders. The leaders were rockers, and they had the basic knowledge, but it was like playing soccer. If you love playing football or soccer, you just do it and you're having fun with it. That was the same mindset when it comes to learning your instrument or just playing music. So, as I said previously, uh, don't read too much about the scales and just go for it. I think that's where the magic happens, when you don't know always what you do.
Do you remember the moment where you fell in love with the guitar and wanting to play? And do you remember if there was a band or song that you went, that's what I want to do?
I do. I have several of those actually, because these youth the leaders were living in the same hoods as I was, and as I told you, I have sisters, and they were a little bit older, and they were hanging out with my sisters, and of course I became their mascot. Yeah, no, we're going to rehearsal on Sunday. You're coming with us, and it was it was the perfect place to be. It was here's the guitar, you can have it. I'll show you this riff, and stuff like that. I had it my way. Anyway, and when I think of this story, it's quite crazy when you think of it. Me and my buddy Johan Andinsson went to school together. Amazing dude. Uh, and we saw this advertisement, Dizo on the Last in Line tour. Special guest Queensryche, who just released the Warning album. We didn't know what Queensryche was, and we didn't hardly know what Dizo was either.
That's why you fell in love with guitar.
Yeah, and then we went, we took the buses ourselves from the suburbs into city center of Gothenburg. I wouldn't let my daughters do that. Never. But that was another time
Totally.
back in 84, 85. But anyway, I got struck by lightning by seeing Vivian Campbell up on stage doing those power stance or moves and his riffage. It was like, oh, I've never seen something like that before. That hit home for me. Someday I'm gonna do what he's doing up there, and I was just that. Thank you, Vivian, for that.
Yeah.
So
Yes, thank you.
that was my introduction to what I wanted to do.
That makes so much sense because again, how you and Jesper harmonize your guitars. I mean, that's what Queensryche was the kings of, you know. So that makes so much sense. But you guys do it in such a different way, obviously. Um, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking so much time with me. I know I've taken a lot of your time, but I was really excited to chat with you about what you guys got going on because it's like a familiar, warm, at home coat, you know, like sometimes you try on new coats and you go, I like this one, or I think I like this one, and then you find one that you're just like, this feels comfortable, this feels like home, and you guys have created something so incredible. I'm so excited to see what you continue to do, and I really hope you guys make it over to the States because I would love to see you guys, or I'll just
thank
come
you
to
so
Sweden.
much. Yeah, thank you so much, Nika. It was a great interview and a pleasure to talk to you.
Same, same.
Yes.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully the sun will peek out at some point.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be
Yeah.
good. Have a good one, Nika. Thanks for the interview.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye.